Thank you everyone for being here today. My name is Jamie Sarmiento. I am the Career Experience Team Leader here at Palo Alto College, and I am excited to join you all today for the TLC Friday webinar series. This is a crash course on how to search and report experiential learning opportunities. So you do not need to be an expert in experiential learning or even a super user of the platform AlamoEXPERIENCE. So today is all about why it's important and how we can get you involved. So before we get started, I do want to kind of survey the room, do a quick environmental scan on who's with me today. We are a very small group. So if you guys just want to put in the chat your role and what institution you serve. So if you are from PAC and if you're a faculty or if you are a staff, and then what it is that you maybe do, please feel free to drop that in the chat. That gives me an idea on how to better tailor this webinar for our audience. So what are we going to do for this short hour that we're here together? So again, this is a crash course on experiential learning and how to report experiential learning opportunities. So that way our students can gain that credit. So really our objective for this hour is for the attendees to really have an understanding of what is experiential learning and why is it important? Why is it important to myself as an individual attending this webinar, but also why is it important for our students? Our attendees will also learn how to access the AlamoEXPERIENCE platform. So again, we do not expect you to be super users, but we do want you to know how to access AlamoEXPERIENCE so that way you can inform a student because it is really here to benefit the student. You will also learn how to search for experiential learning opportunities. So again, those opportunities are to better enhance the student experience. And then learn the 3 ways students can receive experiential learning credit on their experience transcript. So really understanding what's the purpose of the transcript, what is experiential learning credit, and then really how a student can get benefit from that. And then how to submit an experience or opportunity for credit. So really those faculty that might be providing opportunities as extra credit or opportunities that are built into their coursework. We want to capture that so that way students can have that experience captured on their experience transcript. So this is a lot. It's very ambitious, but I promise you this is all possible within this webinar. So why is it important? So again, experiential learning is so important because it is a high impact practice and it is here because it'll help improve the quality of our students' experience and really improve their learning, their retention, and their success. So again, through their participation in experiential learning, a student will better connect with the college or the institution, and then they are more likely to connect with their peers and connect with the faculty so they can persist and they can graduate with that degree or that certificate. So it is so important. And again, I thank you guys for being here today. So before we get into the meat of this webinar, I do want to introduce our Career and Experiential Learning team. Again, my name is Jamie Sarmiento. I am the Career Experience Team Lead for Palo Alto College. I work with a great team of certified career experience navigators. So here are the navigators. Each navigator is unique and they serve students, but they also serve an advising center. So they really do work closely with our advisors and then they serve our students, of course. So what is it that we do, right? Our certified career experience navigators, again, they're assigned to each advising department because they're here to assist students with career-related support. They provide career exploration. They help align academic and career pathways. They facilitate all the career and financial literacy workshops here at PAC. And then they offer one-on-one appointments to our students related to career research, resume and cover letter review, experiential learning, and job and internship search strategies. So getting into the webinar now, again, this is all about experiential learning, AlamoEXPERIENCE, the transcript, and how you all can play a part in this. So experiential learning provides students with a real-world understanding that enhances their overall academic success through active engagement. So it's through that active participation, that real-world hands-on experience, and then the ability to reflect on that experience. And this is important because employers hire individuals who can demonstrate soft skills and career-related skills. So just to give you an example of experiential learning is community service. Here at PAC, we have a community garden, and we are always looking for volunteers to help get engaged in our garden, but help us, right? Beautify the garden, maintain the garden, plant, right? All that great stuff. But it is experiential learning opportunity because the skills that students practice when they are volunteering in our garden could be leadership, right? If they're leading an activity, if they are, helping others learn how to harvest or helping others build a garden bed, they're also practicing collaboration, teamwork, all of those soft skills that employers are looking for. So not only can a student say, oh yes, I have volunteer experience, I volunteered in our garden, or oh yes, I'm a great team worker, I can work collaboratively in groups, I'm a leader, but they can speak on their experience. Well, what makes you a good leader? Or how did you put that into practice? And they can talk about those experiences. And so it's through Alamo Experience that students can search for these opportunities and they can participate in experiential learning opportunities. And these opportunities supplement their classroom learning to help them develop their skills, build connections, and overall enhance their opportunities for the future. So that is experiential learning. And so there are 4, guiding principles. So really, where did this develop? So experiential learning, it's not a new practice. It's something that has always been there, but really this has developed through a district-wide task force, and it really developed because Chancellor Dr. Flores, he really wants to ensure that every student has at least one experiential learning opportunity on their experience transcript before they graduate. And so that is just one of the guiding principles, right? Is that we want our students to have this documented on their experience transcript because we want them not only to show that, hey, I've connected with my college here, with my institution, and this is what I did, but we want them to be able to reflect on those opportunities and then use that to enhance their employability down the road. So I did mention the experience transcript. So what is it, right? What is an experience transcript? A lot of us are familiar with an academic transcript. A student is here, they're taking classes, the academic transcripts records all those classes that they take. It records their grades that they receive, their GPA, and then that transcript is then used when they maybe transfer to another college or university, right? But what's an experience transcript? Well, it's the official involvement record of a student's involvement while they're here with Alamo colleges. So the best part about this experience transcript is all the 5 colleges are implementing this, right? A student can capture all their experiences regardless of the Alamo College institution that they're at. So they can be participating in things at San Antonio College or at St. Philip's College, and they can document that in one place, and that is their experience transcript. It showcases their participation in activities, events, organizations, memberships, positions that they've held, volunteer experience. So a student can record a lot and capture a lot of their college history on this one document. Students can use their experience transcript to elevate their application for their scholarship opportunities. Again, they can use it when they're ready to transfer to another college or university, but they can also use it when they're ready to apply for an internship or for a career. So we know that, hey, a resume is what you need when you apply for that job, right? But maybe you want to attach some other things like your experience transcript, or maybe you're going to use your experience transcript to then help recall what you should put on your resume. Like, what is it that I did, a few months ago, or maybe a year or two ago while I was a student at PAC? Oh yeah, let me put that on my resume because it's right here captured on your experience transcript. A student can download their transcript at any time. So one of the great parts about this is that they can go into AlamoEXPERIENCE, the platform, and they can download this document. There are things on this document that does have to be reviewed and approved. So if it does involve experiential learning, we do have reviewers, and we do have people that certify those experiences for credit, and to make sure that you're documenting something that is authentic and true to what we believe is experiential learning. So we do have 4 types of experiential learning opportunities. Those 4 types of opportunities are co-curricular, extracurricular, field experience, and service learning and volunteerism. So those are the 4 types of opportunities, and those opportunities are captured on the AlamoEXPERIENCE platform because that is what generates the experience transcript. So all of this will make sense, right? We have experiential learning, right? It's so important for documenting a student's experience. And then where we document it is AlamoEXPERIENCE, the platform. That is important because that is what generates their experience transcript. So the next step is, you guys know the platform, right? Well, how do you access it? So these are the steps for accessing AlamoEXPERIENCE. This is specific to students, but it does not look very different as an employee. So students can access AlamoEXPERIENCE by signing into their ACES, clicking on their student tab, scrolling until they see this right here. They can click straight into the platform. They click on sign in. And then if it's their first time ever accessing AlamoEXPERIENCE, they are going to be prompted to create a profile. So similar to building a LinkedIn account or a Facebook account, they're going to ask to, submit a profile picture, write about yourself, include a bio, all these things that help build their profile. And then from there, they have access to see all the campus-wide events, but even events happening at all the other sister colleges. So it's really great. The platform is from the developer called Engage. And so it's a platform that's used at other colleges and universities. So it's really great. And again, it's all about campus involvement. And so it really is here for the students. As an employee, you would access the platform the same way, except for step 2, you would click on Employee tab. So once you sign into ACES, you click on Employee. You'll scroll down until you see this right here. And again, you can click straight into the AlamoEXPERIENCE platform. If it is your first time accessing AlamoEXPERIENCE, you too can create a profile. We do have staff and faculty that have AlamoEXPERIENCE profiles. Some of them may be advisors of clubs and organizations, and others might just be interested in searching for these opportunities to help their students, right? Some departments even have public facing pages. So again, making sure that what their services and their resources are visible to our students. So that is what we're looking for. And this is what we're talking about, AlamoEXPERIENCE. So going into the 3 steps. So again, remember our learning objectives were, how can we search and report for experiential learning opportunities? So the first way that I'm going to talk to you guys about is experiential learning events. This is so common, and it's very common as far as this is a way that you can search for experiential learning opportunities, but it's also the first way a student can gain experiential learning credit. That is by attending an event that is designated as experiential learning. And then their attendance gets recorded for being at that event. And then it gets put on their experience transcript. So experiential learning events, these are events that are posted on AlamoEXPERIENCE. And so the easiest way to search through all the events that are happening is first you want to identify what school do I want to narrow my search to? So under branches, you can view all of the Alamo College District events, meaning you can just not select any and you can see everything that's happening cross college, right? Everything that's happening through district, St. Philip, San Antonio College, Northeast Lakeview, PAC, all the colleges. Or you can filter out and search specifically for our institution. So when we're running through this with students, we always tell them, hey, if you're looking for opportunities or events local on a localized level for our college, you want to go ahead and select under branch, select Palo Alto College. And then the next very important step, under categories, you need to select experiential learning reflection component. This will identify that that event that you're interested in will count as experiential learning credit. Once you select both of those, it'll then filter out and show you all of the opportunities that a student may have that will give them experiential learning credit on their experience transcript. And so again, this is important because it's a chancellor charge that every student will have at least one experiential learning opportunity recorded on their experience transcript before they graduate. And so these again, are some of the events that will help provide them with that. So just a little background on, again, those opportunities, right? What are those 4 opportunities that align with experiential learning? It is extracurricular activities. So a lot of the programming through the Office of Student Life, right? It could also be co-curricular, meaning somehow it's embedded into the curriculum or the coursework under a faculty. It is field experience, right? That could be a job shadow, it could be an internship, an externship, and then service learning and community service, right? So those are the 4 types of opportunities for experiential learning. And so once you filter out your search through events, you can see, okay, this is the first way a student can then document an experience or search for experiential learning and then document that experience for credit. So once a student's solidifies like, oh, okay, I'm really interested and I want to attend this community garden day. So they're going to volunteer in our garden, right? They can click into this event, they can RSVP. Once they attend the event, their attendance is recorded. So whoever the event owner is, they will record the attendance and then that's how it generates onto their experience transcript. So this is the first way on how to report experiential learning credit or how a student would earn experiential learning credit. So through events. The second way a student can receive or record an experience is by documenting that experience and reporting it themselves. So within the platform, once they create their profile, they'll see that they have an account established, right? It'll say their name. It may have a profile picture if they chose to upload one, or it would just have their initial. They would click on that in the upper right-hand corner, and then this menu will appear, right? So this right-hand bar menu would appear. If they were a student, let's say they had an experience and it didn't exist as an event, right? They participated in a service learning project in accounting, and they, their project for that accounting class was to serve as the volunteer for the tax season when they were asking for volunteers to help the community out with their taxes, right? So let's say they did that and it wasn't an event in Alamo Experience, but they want to capture that as experiential learning. They can self-report that experience by coming into the platform, clicking on experiences, and then adding experience. So they can then go in and say, this is what I did. Right? Through my accounting class, I was asked to volunteer X amount of hours with this organization, and I was able to help people with their taxes during tax season. They're asked to share what date, when did this occur? And then a little bit more information. We want to see, okay, what type of reflection took place? How does this align with experiential learning? How do you benefit from this? How does this align maybe with your future academic and career goals? And then what happens is On the back end, we get that notification that someone has submitted an experience, and then our team of navigators will then go in and review and certify that as an approved experience. So that way it is recorded on their experience transcript. So this is way number 2. So remember, the first way for reporting experiential learning or receiving credit is through events. The second way is the self-reported experience way, right? A student can come in and they can click on experience and then they can add their own experience. The third way to record or document experiential learning for credit is the employee initiated form. So that's this form right here that we're talking about. So this is primarily for faculty or staff, but really those faculty that maybe they have this assignment embedded into their coursework, or they have a project that their students are working on, right? And they're thinking like, hey, this could possibly be experiential learning. Let me see, right? So you can come to this form. By the way, this form is located on our PAC Career and Experiential Learning page, and I'll share that link with you all at the end, but they can come into this form and it looks like this. It says, please complete this form to initiate the process for experiential learning opportunity to be tracked in Alamo Experience for your intended audience. Upon completion of the form, it will be reviewed and validated by someone from our career team. So again, you know, it's okay if you're not too sure. Maybe you want to submit something, but you're unsure of, you know, I'm not too sure. Is this field experience, or is this service learning, or is it, you know, co-curricular? I don't know. It's okay if you don't know and you can't identify that. Our team can help you. So you can come here. You would put your first and last name. So if you are an instructor, and I'm going to use Joseph Coppola because he is a wonderful instructor here at PAC, you would type in your name, provide your ACES email address, and then you would type in your course or section number in which that experience is built in. So if it was a computer science course and you felt like this assignment that you want to share is for that section, you would give us that course and section number. And that is because if this is, you know, co-curricular, what we want to do is ensure that your class gets that credit. So you come and fill out this form. Again, it's okay if you're not too sure if it even is experiential learning, because it is reviewed and validated by our career team. So we take a look at that. If it is a true experiential learning experience, right? If it aligns with a NACE competency, meaning if there's some type of career outcome, or if it aligns with our ILOs, and you provided some type of reflection, meaning there was some type of assignment associated with this, whether it's a presentation at the end or a writing prompt, a few discussions, right? Or if it was maybe a verbal discussion that took place after the fact, that is the reflection that took place, then it is experiential learning, right? And so we will then capture it on their experience transcript. We then take that course and section number that was provided. We go in and look, okay, great. This is when this experience was offered. We say fall 2021. This was the section number and these were the students. As long as they get a completion grade, meaning, you know, they completed the experience, received a grade, whatever's determined by the instructor, right? And our team, we can then credit them. And then the students will have that captured on their Alamo experience transcript. So this does not require anyone to be a super user of Alamo experience. It does not require much work for someone as far as, you know, having to know a lot about experiential learning. All it does is it requires you to know how to fill out a form, to share that opportunity with us. So that way we can capture it for your students. So again, remember, there are 3 ways to capture experiential learning credit for our students. The first way was through events. The second way is that self-reported experience, meaning a student can go in and report an experience themselves. And then the third way is the employee-initiated form, meaning a faculty or a staff member would want to share an opportunity that they maybe did with a group of students. So another good example of a staff who might use this form is maybe someone who leads PAC Men, right? PAC Men, attended, let's say they attended a virtual conference and they presented at that virtual conference. What a great opportunity. And that is experiential learning, right? And so we want to capture that. And so that person would then put in their name, their ACES, and under course and section number, don't worry about that. You can literally put Pac-Men, right? Cohort fall 21, whichever. There are other components of this form that's not shown here, but just fill out everything and then we will do the rest. This will allow us to be able to contact you should we have any further questions or need additional information. And then we're able, again, to put this into Alamo Experience to capture that opportunity. To let you guys know, what is it that we need in order to capture an experience? We really need the student's ACES ID or their banner ID number. So that is how the system identifies a student. It identifies them by either their banner ID number or their ACES ID. We put that into the system, and then that's how they receive the credit. So again, this is all about how we can document experiential learning credit for our students. That is a crash course. So that was real quick. I realized I went through that in 25 minutes. Again, there are 3 primary steps. So I do want to allow this time for conversation. Feel free to unmute, ask me questions. You can unmute or use the chat, and I do want to answer questions.
Jamie, I have a question. This is Elsa Anaya.
Yes, hello.
A couple of questions. First of all, you said that faculty, we could go on there and look at the some of the events going on.
Absolutely.
I haven't looked at it. I don't know. So do we, when we go on as a faculty member or employee, do we see the same things that students are seeing, or is it different?
No,
okay.
That's a great question. So although you are a faculty, right? Or although I'm a staff, what is it that I see? And is the student seeing the same thing, and can I help them walk through the same steps? You are seeing the exact same thing a student would see. So the only difference, the platform some components of the platform are even public facing, meaning they don't have to be a student necessarily, like they don't have to log in using their ACES credential, right? There are some components that will allow them to view things without having to log in. But yes, as a faculty and staff, you see the exact same thing a student would see. I will say one of the only differences is, for example, NSLS, National Society of Leadership and Success. That is a leadership honor society. It's a national chapter, right? A student has to be invited through their GPA, and then they also they're invited to join, right? So there are some NSLS events that are posted on Alamo Experience as an event, but not anyone can attend some of those events because it is by invite only. And so you're going to notice, although I can see the event, I cannot RSVP to join because it could be blocked for invitation only. And so that would be one of the differences. But I would love to take this time to kind of go into the platform to show you all, because that's a great question. Am I seeing what the students see? And you are. What they see is what a faculty or staff would see.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, before you take us in there, the other question I had was, when you started talking about the employee initiated form that we could send in something, one of the assignments that I have students do is they have to submit a resume, and I help them with their resume. They update it and they have it. And then the other part of the assignment, once they have that, is I actually have them go through and apply, go look and research different companies. And so I give them websites like Indeed. And so I tell them, I want you to go in because it's really different now. Go in and apply. And even if you turn it down, I want you to be able to show me. And their proof is they will send me an email that they got. Thank you for applying, but sorry. But at least I want them to have that experience of, okay,
Yeah,
now I have a
absolutely.
resume, and they go out, they actually apply, and they have to
Mm-hmm.
show me that as proof that they did that as an assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be something that would be considered experiential? I mean, because I'd really like to
Yeah, no, I think
have my
that
students do
that's
that.
a wonderful assignment, right? And it really does help develop a student, not only by taking that personal responsibility and that their own leadership when it comes to, having to do the research of their desired industry, having to build their resume and craft it. Yes, we can talk about more. Is this experiential learning? I would say yes. We love to see what type of reflection is taking place. So really, what are there any like prompts, that maybe is allowing the student to think more about, okay, am I making this connection with what I want to be and pursue in the future? Or are they just going into Indeed and showing to you, okay, I know how to create a profile, or I know how to search for an opportunity? We really want to see it somehow connecting to what it is they want to pursue. So as long as it's, really direct in that instance, then yes. And again, submit it, fill out that employee initiated form. We go in and we take a look at it and we're like, okay, do we need to ask further questions? Or yes, this is experiential learning. But
Okay.
I think that from the way the assignment sounds, the way it's built out, yes, I would say it is experiential learning, right? A student they have their end goal in mind, right? It's career focused, it's career oriented. They're practicing those skills that is required of them to do their research, right? To take that accountability, and then everything else. So we do have certain outcomes that we like to see. But yes, it does sound like experiential learning. I'm going
Okay.
to take this. Mhm.
Yeah, and the only reflection, because I mean, it's enough,
Mhm.
because our courses in business are 8 weeks.
Yes.
So it's pretty condensed. And
Mhm.
so the only reflection that I have on something like that is, okay, so what did you think of this?
Absolutely.
Tell me your negatives, your positives, and they,
Yeah.
they will usually answer like, oh, I was scared at first, but I didn't know it would be so easy, and wow, and it was really good that they even responded to me, or
Yeah, I think.
stuff like that. So
And yes, and as of right now, when it comes to reflection and the cross college and district wide task force and the cross college career services team, we're trying to work out a way on how we can make sure that reflection is happening, but also making sure that we are, I guess, measuring reflection equally, all right, that we have a standard way of looking at reflection. So right now there is no standard way that we have finalized and that's concrete for us, but as long as it's taking place, and so even a simple discussion like you mentioned, and somehow they're sharing some feedback and they're looking back at that experience and telling you about it, that constitutes as experiential learning reflection, like meeting that requirement. So I think that's great.
okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Another question in the chat, is this only at PAC, and where can we access the screen that shows all the events? This is not only at PAC, so thank you for asking that question in the chat. You can view every campus. So even though for myself, I am employed through Alamo colleges, but I work here at PAC, I can still go in and see all the activity that's happening at any of the other colleges. So I'll show you that in a little bit. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pause my screen. And I'm going to open up Chrome so that way I can show you all what it looks like when you're in the platform Alamo Experience itself. So again, the easiest way to access Alamo Experience is to log into your ACES. This is not something that's unfamiliar to faculty, staff, or students. Let's see. So you can just let them know, hey, log into your ACES. So that was step one. Step two was click on that student tab. So this is what I'm referring to. As an employee, you would click on your employee tab. A student will see their student tab. You scroll down to the bottom. Unfortunately, we don't have the best real estate. We're towards the bottom, but here you're going to see Alamo Experience. Click into the platform. From there, a student might be prompted to see like a sign-in button. They would just click that and it'll take them into the platform. Since I'm sorry, I'm not even sharing my screen. There we go. Now, do you all see the Google? I'm sorry.
Yes, sorry,
Google
Jamie.
Chrome.
I was just about to tell you, but I couldn't tell if it was my computer or not.
Perfect. I just realized I was pause screen. So no worries, I can go back. So again, the easiest way to access the platform is through ACES. So you sign into ACES, you click on student or employee, scroll down to the bottom, and here we are, Alamo Experience. So once you're in the platform, and I already have my profile established, so it didn't tell me, to create my profile. So once you're here, let's just say I wanted to search for an opportunity through events, right? So you can come here and click on events. Like I mentioned, it's going to show you all the events happening within Alamo colleges. So I can see things that are happening at Northeast Lakeview, Northwest Vista, PAC, all these great events. Now, all of these events aren't necessarily experiential learning opportunities. So how do I filter that? So I'm going to and right here under branches, remember, this is where you would select what college you want to look at. So I'm going to select Palo Alto College. So now I'm looking at only events for Palo Alto College. So I'm like, wow, there's some awesome opportunities here. Oh, smoothies in the courtyard. Yes, I want to do that. Now, smoothies in the courtyard, you're going to notice once you select your category, right? That was a part of the step. You want to select experiential learning reflection component. You're going to notice that that's no longer an event because that's not something that's associated with giving you experiential learning credit. Because again, in order for it to constitute as experiential learning, it has to somehow develop the student ultimately for their career benefit, right? It has to align with an ILO or an ACE competency. And so this is great. Learn Python through video games. That's incredible, right? So we have this STEM Center event, and they get to learn Python in an interactive way. And hey, Python's something that they might use in a professional setting. And so this is amazing. So let's just say, yes, I want to take this opportunity and I want to participate. It's happening Monday. I can see when it is. I can see the time. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I can register for it. So I see that this is going to maybe be, let's see, the location. I see it's at the STEM Center and I want to register for this opportunity. So this is great. And you can see that it's going to provide the student with experiential learning credit. So again, this is something anyone can see as long as you have access to the platform, as long as you have ACES, whether you're staff, faculty, or a student, you can come in and explore these opportunities. Any questions about I guess the first way a student can receive credit? So they can receive credit for experiential learning through events. Any questions on that? Great. So remember the second way. So let's say the student participated.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes, of course.
I'm sorry, I put it in the chat, but if you click on that experiential learning tab on this particular event, will it show you what the learning objectives are?
That's a good question. And no, unfortunately.
Does it give you a summary of what it is?
It doesn't. So this one doesn't provide any information as far as that. Now, I can show you on the back end what it is that we see when we build it out, because I think that's a wonderful question. What are the learning objectives? What are the NACE competencies associated with this event? What is the benefit? And so when they build out the event, and so the person who builds it out could be an employee with the STEM Center, or it could be built out by Student Life. So the Office of Student Life, they are AlamoEXPERIENCE super users, as well as the Career Navigators. So we can build out events for people or departments that maybe are not familiar, and so we can do it for them. But on the back end, what we want to see is we want this additional information filled out. So the STEM Center did a great job because they said they are a department. They have identified this as experiential learning, which we go in and have to verify that. So they can say it is, but it still has to be approved. And so we said, yes, it is. And then here's where they associate the NACE competency. So for experiential learning events and experiences, please select one NACE career readiness competency. And they can select which is the primary one. Keep in mind, these are radio buttons, so we only allow them to select one NACE competency up here. That is because when we pull reports, it can get very complicated if more than one is associated in this area. We did realize like, hey, there could be opportunities where there are more than one learning objective, or there's more than one competency being met. So we did add that down here. So it's the second competency. So identify a second competency. They don't have to click anything here. It's not required. You can see that there's no asterisk by it. So they don't have to select one here, but they can. You're also going to notice that we added our ILOs. So can anyone tell me how many institutional learning outcomes we have for PAC? Amanda, you cannot answer. Any brave people?
No, but this is very informative and I appreciate the session.
Yes, of course. We have 6. Now, Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong.
You are 100% correct.
Woo! Okay, virtual candy for me. So yes, we have 6 ILOs. So we did add, we realized that some of our ILOs, they align with a NACE competency, right? They're very similar to that, but there are a few that don't. And one of those ILOs are personal responsibility. So that's one of the ILOs we felt, hey, it's really important and it's not a NACE competency, but it should be a part of the experiential learning part. And so we added that here. So you're going to notice that we added 3 of our ILOs here that aren't necessarily in a NACE competency. So here's where an individual that builds out an event, they would be able to identify what the opportunity is, right? Is it co-curricular, extracurricular, field experience, or service learning? STEM Center did a wonderful job. They're absolutely correct. This is extracurricular. It would be co-curricular if it was, you know, a class and the whole entire class was learning Python, right? And they wanted to document that. Then they can click co-curricular. So then they click next and they complete their submission process. Great question. Really great question. And I think that that's something that maybe we can take into consideration. I'm going to write it down as far as listing the objectives in a front-facing way, so that way someone could see that.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
It's very helpful to be able to reinforce other objectives within the program that we have, which is youth apprenticeship.
Yes.
And so I appreciate the detail on that.
Great. Yes, I believe I'm familiar with the youth apprenticeship. Do you work closely with Ivan?
Yes.
Yay, great.
Yes.
I've met several times with them. They're amazing. So yes, we can definitely capture opportunities that those students are going through as well. So that way it's captured.
So like that one is a perfect one. I'm going to send it to Ivan in just a few minutes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Naya, for joining us. If you have to hop off, I totally understand. I'm just catching up with things in the chat, making sure that I'm answering everyone's questions. Great. Let's see. Okay. Wonderful. So that was the first way, right? So the second way is reporting experiential learning. So a student, right? Self-reporting an experience. So I'm a student and I'm going to click on experiences. And then I'm going to click add experience. Here, there are only 2 things that they can really add. And if they don't know what learn how to learn is, then they need to select experiential learning self-reported experience. Very similar to the faculty employee initiated form. You know, we want to know what it is that they did, right? What was the experience name, and then describe it. What did you do? So let's just say this was a student who had an extra credit opportunity that was given to them, and it was to volunteer, right, with a community or with an agency outside of PAC, like any volunteer opportunity. So they can say Habitat for Humanity was their experience. Their description was, I spent a Saturday afternoon or morning into the afternoon landscaping a house that was being built for the community through Habitat for Humanity, right? They can let us know what their primary institution is, the date in which that opportunity took place, the number of hours, again, because if it's like community service, we want to list the number of hours on their experience transcript, what type of reflection took place. And then their contact information. This is really so that way if we have any additional questions, we can reach out to them. And then if they have anything that they would want to upload, this is also good for students that attend things and need to submit artifacts for credit, right? Like I'm just thinking like art extra credit for art appreciation, attend or go to the San Antonio Art Museum and then show me that you actually went and you explored artifacts there, right? So they're going to submit maybe their entry ticket, and then they hit submit. Our team goes in and reviews it. So that was the second way. And then the third way was through the employee initiated form, right? And so this form, don't worry if I'm not going to remember how to get there. It's an easy link that I will share with you all. And it exists on our PAC Career and Experiential Learning page. So as I am a member of the page, but if it's your first time and you're not a member, you would, in this corner, you would actually see join, or you would be saying like you're interested in staying connected with this portal. So then you can join, you can scroll down and you can click on Experiential Learning Employee Initiated Form. You wouldn't see resume unless you've already tried to submit. But here is where you would see the form. And again, we're collecting the very similar information. We want to know the name of the submitter, because if we have questions, we want to know who we can contact to ask questions, get clarifying answers. If it's built into a course, please, identify, EDUC 1300 section number. And if it's not a course, you would put, if it's a organization like Pacman, put that down. The date of the experience name. We would like you to describe it. Again, we want to see like, oh, is this truly experiential learning? If hours of the experience, you can put that if applicable. And then you can tell us like what type of reflection took place, right? Was there an event discussion? Was there some type of presentation, like a PowerPoint project that the student had to then complete? Was there a writing assignment? And then we ask you to associate it with what type of opportunity. And it's okay if you think like, oh, this is for sure field experience, but if later on down the line, our team says, no, it's actually co-curricular, that's okay. We will then be able to review it. And then here's where you can identify a NAICS competency with it. If you can provide a class roster, yes, great. If not, it's not an issue. We can pull it through Banner, or with the help of IR, we're able to get that information. So again, we want to alleviate as much work on the faculty, because we know, hey, you're doing a lot. And we also know you are absolutely offering experiential learning opportunities, and you might not even know it. And again, we want to take that pressure off you. Just fill out this short form so that way we can go in and review it and then count it as credit for the student. So those are the three ways. I'm going to switch back over to the PowerPoint. Does anyone have any other questions? Thank you. I am seeing like I'm advocating for experiential learning. I think that that's great. And I see that you're a former director of service learning and civic engagement. Very cool. It's so awesome, Lillian. I would love to connect more with you. Let's see, what campus are you at? Awesome. So SPC, so St. Philip's College. So Oh, Lillian, SAC. So at SAC, your career experience team leader, which is, the me at SAC, is going to be Sabrina McCall, and she's amazing. She's great. So definitely look into that. Any other questions? I do want to leave some food for thought, meaning some resources. So I'm going to drop some resources in the chat. Please just give me 1 second while I pull it all up. Feel free to unmute and ask any questions while I pull this up.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for showing us the, where we can look at all this information, because this also gives me some great ideas to get my students involved, because I usually don't have the time to come up with activities or like the service learning or anything like that. But it's nice to know that there are events out there that I can send students to, and I just can create an assignment based on that. So
Absolutely.
I'm really excited. Yeah.
Great. Absolutely. And, again, why duplicate efforts if it's already out there? Send your students to these events. That's what they're there for. We love, to engage with them in different ways. So please, share this with your colleagues, share this with your students. I did drop a few resources in the chat. The first one is the Alamo Experience resource guide. There it explains again what is Alamo experience, or what is experiential learning, what are the categories, right? What are those field experience, service learning, volunteerism, community service, extracurricular, co-curricular, what does all that mean? So it's, and it talks about Alamo Experience, the platform, and how to log in. It's a great document. I believe the last page of that document also provides the contact information for each campus. So you'll see the contact information for San Antonio College listed on there, St. Philip's as well, and all the other ones. The next one is the experiential learning checklist. So it's great for faculty or even some staff that's building out an event, right? You're thinking in your head, like, how can I document this experience, and is it experiential learning? There's this whole checklist. And I think, the first step on that checklist is to connect with your career experience team, right? Connect with a navigator, connect with myself, the team leader. So that way we can document these experiences for you. And then of course it has to align to an ACE competency or an ILO. And then what is that, right? So that document right there is a way to click and see and get straight into NACE. So that way you can read on those 8 NACE competencies. And then the last attachment in the chat is the career and financial literacy fall programming for Palo Alto. So if you can share it with your students, so that way they can attend an event that our department puts on. Again, we are responsible for all the career and financial literacy workshops here on campus. So we're all about enhancing the experience for our students, making sure that it benefits them not only academically, but through their career pursuits and their journey after PAC. So great. If there are no questions for me, thank you all for taking the time to be with me today. Amanda did drop a survey in the chat. Take the survey. Yay. We love feedback. Love feedback. So again, thank you for being here with us. Thank you to the TLC for providing this opportunity for me to share this webinar with you all. And you guys have a great day.